Oops by Sandra M. Odell. Levi didn't mean to turn his mom into a frog. It was an accident, he signed and mouthed as Dad took the frog, Mom, from under the overturned laundry basket. A little bigger than a golf ball, bulging yellow eyes, glossy green skin, and blue feet the same color as her slippers. She looked like one of those tree frogs in the Amazon. Kind of cool. For a frog, anyway. "You know you're not allowed in my library," Dad said with hands and hunched shoulders. His scowl said even more. He never signed that fast unless he was really, really mad. "Yeah, but the door was open and I went inside to get the dog. That's all I did, I swear. Then I saw the grimoire on the desk. I looked at it, only looked, and couldn't pronounce some of the words, and you were busy in the garage, and when I went to ask Mom—" Dad gave him that look. Busted. Levi shut up. Major Minor clawed at the laundry room door. In! Let me in! Stupid dog. Levi needed to think. What would he lose this time? His dirt bike? His cell phone? His DVD player? Not... Will I still be able to play my Xbox? Dad didn't answer. Really busted. Levi put his dirty clothes back in the basket, then picked up the leather-bound grimoire that got him into trouble in the first place. It smelled kind of like cinnamon, bay leaves, and shoe polish. He ran a hand over the vellum pages covered in faded Arcanist script. The magic tingled up his fingers and down his spine. It tickled the roof of his mouth. Symbols danced over the page, inviting him to try again, read them aloud. He'd get it right this time. Dad made a sound like a cough. Levi closed the grimoire and handed it over in exchange for the frog. Mom. Her heart beat like a tiny drum in his hands, and her toes tickled his palms. Dad marched him down the hallway to the library. Major Minor bounced and yapped around Levi's feet. Can I see? Can I see? Dad couldn't hear anything, but the constant chatter made Levi crazy. No. With his foot, Levi pushed the chihuahua out and closed the library door. A moment later, the stupid dog started all over again. Dad's library was hella cool. From the family altar, the shelves full of books and scrolls, the crystal ball in the wrought iron stand by the window, everything said true Arcanist, not like those poser guys down at the technical school. Well, it was all cool except for left and right, the marble lions to either side of the desk. As Levi crossed the rug, they sniggered and rolled their eyes. Dad put the grimoire back on its stand, then pulled tomes and scrolls off the shelves and settled behind the desk to read. And read. And read. Fingers tapped pages, followed lines. Levi rocked heel to toe in front of the desk, his stomach tied in knots, Mom squirming in both hands. Dad finally set the books aside and looked at Levi long and hard. He leaned forward. Tell me everything that happened. Don't leave anything out. So Levi did and didn't. From how he found Major Minor sniffing at the lions, to when he stopped to look at the grimoire, and then went to find Mom in the laundry room. Levi kept his head up and spoke distinctly so Dad could see every word. All the while, Mom tried to squeeze between his fingers. What did you say exactly? Duh. If Levi'd known exactly what he said, he wouldn't have had to ask Mom about the pronunciation of what he wanted to say, but it was probably best not to say it. Levi repeated each line as best he could remember. The words wanted to come to life, remake reality. Nothing happened. For that, he needed the grimoire. Dad had him say everything a second time, more slowly, and copied every syllable in pencil on a piece of lined paper. Using a swan-feathered quill, hand-ground ink, and a clean sheet of vellum, Dad rewrote everything in Arcanist script and pushed the page across the desk to Levi, still frowning, signs tight and sharp. "Does this look right?" Levi examined the sheet, motioned for the quill. He didn't know a lot about magic, but he knew accuracy counted most, and lip reading wasn't as precise as everyone liked to think. He transferred Mom to his left hand and carefully corrected 2 of the words to match what he thought he'd said, minding the line formation. He set the quill down and presented the corrections. "That should be right." Dad examined the changes, nodded. "All right, give me your mother." Levi passed Mom to Dad, who signed for everything but the vellum to be cleared from the desk. He stacked the books and curios on one side of the high-backed chairs beside the desk. Maybe he could convince Dad to give him his own personal grimoire after they turned Mom back into a mom. Frog or no frog, all of the Arcanist stuff was still hella cool. Dad rested his right hand on the desk, fingers loosely cupped to keep Mom in place. He touched the middle finger of his left hand to the center of his forehead, then the center of the vellum page. A ripple of pale blue light flickered over the sheet, and the letters filled with sapphire flame. Levi drew in a sharp breath. Wright yawned. "Oh, please." With short, tight gestures, Dad drew the flame from the letters and wound it around his fingers. He mouthed words that would have shaken the rafters if they'd had any sound at all. That was why none of Levi's friends seemed super impressed when they learned Dad was an Arcanist of the Sixth Circle. They'd never heard him speak an incantation like the Arcanists on TV, but it had taken years for Dad to master silent casting. His dad was for real, and Levi's friends could suck it. Dad opened his hand, palm up, and the chain of words unraveled in a spray of sparks that whipped around his head. He coughed into his fist once, twice, and threw the sounds into the air. The sparks followed the sounds to the ceiling and disappeared in a brilliant blue flash. Levi blinked and rubbed his eyes until he could see again. Dad stared intently at Mom, still a frog, trapped under his hand. After a few seconds, Levi tapped the desk to get Dad's attention. Dad looked up. Nothing happened. Dad went volcano red. Hot lava, smoke pouring out the ears, death ray stare red. His free hand slashed the air like a knife. "Are you sure this is what you said?" The tirade popped Levi like a bubble. "Yes, I'm sure. I guess." Dad slapped the desk. "What you did shouldn't even be possible. I need you to be sure." "Okay, I'm sure." "Nice going, kid," said Left. Levi kicked the statue before he remembered his sneakers didn't have much padding. Dad closed his eyes and rubbed the bridge of his nose. Finally, he sat upright and rubbed his fist in a circle over his heart. "Sorry." Levi nodded. A tiny dark voice spoke up from the pit of his stomach. What if Dad couldn't fix this? Mom would be a frog forever, and it was all his fault. That would suck more than losing his Xbox. Dad tried the unmaking again with the same result. He had Levi hold Mom and rewrote the incantation. Another casting. Nothing. He exhaled, took Mom, and pushed away from the desk. Levi winced. "What are we going to do now? Do you want me to write it down myself?" Dad moved around the desk to the family altar. The small, hand-carved teak stand was arranged with polished river stones and family mementos. Locks of hair, a small porcelain teacup filled with smashed pennies, a piece of lead shot from the Civil War, the suba from great-grandfather Takaida's katana, a scrap of blue-green tartan folded with a square of pink silk. He nodded to a bamboo cricket cage at the back of the altar. Levi grabbed the cage and deposited Mom inside, closing the small door. The bamboo slats were close enough together that she couldn't squeeze between them. Her throat pulsed in time with her heartbeat. Did she even know what was going on? Dad took the cage, tapped a hand to his chin, and pulled it away, his brow smooth, though he still frowned. "Thank you." Levi cupped his hand and tipped it upside down as he brought it to his chest. "You're welcome." Dad placed the cage back on the altar. He lowered himself to his knees, then lit 2 sticks of jasmine incense, the smoke curling around the keepsakes like an iridescent snake. He clapped twice, brought his hands together a 3rd time, and slowly drew them apart, humming a strange, toneless tune, tipping his chin up to a beat only he could hear. Dad pressed his forehead to the polished wood floor, then settled back on his heels. The smoke lifted from the altar maze and unfurled into dozens of wispy faces, men, women, young, old, some that might not have even been human. Levi watched it all with amazement. Too bad he didn't have his phone so he could take a video. "You call us," the faces said as one with many voices. Dad signed with a strange eloquence, his gestures sparse yet beautiful, not like regular ASL at all. "Ancestors, I commend myself to you. There has been an accident, and my wife is now—" He motioned towards the cage. The ancestors looked down. "Oh dear," they said, and Levi could have sworn he heard one of them snicker. Dad continued, "I have attempted 3 unmakings without success. I await your wisdom." Levi definitely heard one of the ancestors laugh. "Where are the unmakings?" they said. Levi grabbed the vellum sheets off the desk and passed them to his dad, who burned them in a small red lacquer bowl before sprinkling the ash over the altar. The faces curled in on themselves in tiny waves, then smoothed over once more. "The unmaking is for itself an incantation unmade." Dad nodded, bobbed a fist. The ancestors frowned. "Why would you do such a thing?" Dad tipped his head in Levi's direction. Smoky eyes turned to Levi. "This is Levi? When did he get so big?" Bad enough he got that question at family reunions. Levi took a deep breath. "I made a mistake with the incantation, and now we're trying to fix it. Can you—" He caught that look from Dad. Honored ancestors, can you help us turn my mother back into a woman?" 1 or 2 of the ancestors tisked in disappointment. Levi grit his teeth. Definitely like a family reunion. Dad made a sound like a cough. "I'll deal with my son later. Now I need your help to restore Maureen." The ancestors drifted over and through the cricket cage. Mom blinked her yellow eyes and lifted a front foot. The smoke shifted back to the center of the altar. "The incantation has been contaminated. The power curdled. It must be cleansed and wrought anew." Dad frowned. Cleansed? There were no outside influences. This was not deliberate. My son made a mistake. Levi nodded. "Yeah, a mistake." "That may be, but the truth does not change the reality." Levi frowned. "What the hell does that mean?" The smoke began to disperse, faces flickering out like candle flames until only one remained, an old woman with tiny eyes set in a mass of wrinkles. She stared at Levi and pursed her lips. "Get a haircut," then disappeared like the rest. Dad grabbed his griffin leather jacket and stuffed a list of components in the left pocket. The good news. Dad was pretty sure he knew what to do. The bad news. He wasn't taking Levi. "Why not?" Levi signed and mouthed at the front door, pleading with puppy dog eyes. "I'm almost 14. I'm old enough to help." Dad answered one-handed as he zipped up his coat. He needed both Mom and Levi to stay within the house wards. He couldn't risk anything happening to either of them if he hoped to unmake Levi's mistake. "We can lock her in the bathroom or your library. Come on, I gotta go with you. I'm the one who—" Dad shook his head. No. But... Stop. Levi's shoulders slumped. He kicked at Major Minor, yipping and yammering at his feet. When will you be back? I'm supposed to go over to Jeremy's for game tonight. Dad coughed, released the house wards, and headed out the door. So much for that. Levi locked and bolted the door, fingers tingling as the wards reset. Normally a cool feeling, this time a reminder he'd been left behind. He picked up the cage from the entryway table. Mom licked one of her eyes. Looks like it's you and me now, Mom. Major Minor pranced on his hind legs. And me! Don't forget me! Levi stepped over the Chihuahua. Don't I wish. Dad had magically locked the Xbox. Totally bogus. And there was nothing good on TV. Levi headed into the kitchen for a soda and spent half a loaf of French bread sampling the spaghetti sauce simmering in the crock pot. He almost offered Mom a taste and hesitated. You can't eat bread now, huh? Mom's throat fluttered. Summer flies buzzed around the ceiling. Maybe he could catch them for her. Nah, that would be gross. He washed his hands and carried Mom back into the family room. The Xbox was still locked. It was like Dad didn't trust him or something. After another round of squat to do, Levi wandered into his dad's library, closing the door to keep the dog out. The lions eyed him with stony suspicion. Don't even think about it, kid, said Left. Levi walked to the desk. I'm not going to do anything. Why had he come in here anyway? Maybe to grab a few jelly beans. Maybe because he didn't want a frog for a mom. He wanted Mom for a mom. Ponytail, ugly sweatpants, griping about his room, kissing him goodnight. Levi set the bamboo cage on the desk and dropped into the padded leather chair. He slid his hands over the smooth armrests, swiveled back and forth. What was taking Dad so long? He had to be at Jeremy's in a couple of hours. The guys would kill him if he missed another game. Then again, Dad might kill him if they couldn't change Mom back. The phone rang. Levi looked at the unblinking TTY beside the laptop on the pull-out desk to the right. Why didn't Dad just give up on the stupid thing and get a smartphone or hook his computer into the house's Wi-Fi? He grabbed the handset, checked the number on the screen, and pushed the button. What's up, man? Jeremy wheezed like a dragonette with a head cold. Sup, Dad? You coming over for Gabe, or you gonna pussy out again? I ain't a pussy, you butt muncher. Your mom's a butt muncher. You gotta stay over tonight. I got Elemental Imperium, and it is awesome. Levi spun in the chair until the room tilted. No way! Jeremy's parents were always buying him cool things. Levi always had to wait until games went on sale because Mom said there was no room in the budget for new games, which was hella bogus, seeing how Dad was an arcanist. He had to know how to make money. Literally. Talk of video games turned to girls and a girls' night out party video Jeremy had downloaded from the web. Levi adjusted himself and put his feet up on the desk. Mom watching from the cage was kind of creepy. Okay, real creepy. But if he didn't look at her, he could imagine she wasn't there. He levered himself out of the chair and headed to the kitchen, flipping off the lions when they tried to interrupt Jeremy's. I mean, they were huge, bad, like watermelons or something. Levi rummaged through the fridge and came up with the soda and the rest of the hard salami. He snickered, salami, and kicked the refrigerator door closed. From the back of the house came a lion's roar, and then the sound of something worse than Dad taking Levi's Xbox away forever. Major Minor. Hey! Come back here! Hey! Levi looked around frantically for Mom's cage that he'd left in the library, with the library door wide open. Oh, crap. Levi dropped the phone and raced out of the kitchen. Books and papers were scattered everywhere in front of the desk, and the bamboo cage lay in splinters on the floor. The lions glared at him, right bared sharp marble fangs. Should have listened to us, huh, Mr. Big Shot? Major Minor clawed at the bottom of the bookshelf along the right wall, pushing books aside as he chased. "Mom! Hey, Mom!" Levi grabbed the Chihuahua by the collar. "Why didn't you stop him?" "Do we look light on our feet?" said Left. A blur of green, yellow, and blue hopped over the toe of Levi's sneaker and headed for the door. Levi stuffed Major Minor under his arm and bent to catch the frog. "Wait!" Major Minor squirmed free, dropped to the floor, and chased Mom out of the library. Levi ran after them. Who knew a frog could move that fast? "Get away, you dumb dog!" "Close the door!" called one of the lions. Levi followed the barking to the family room. The stupid dog would kill Mom, the cops would come, and he'd go to jail, and Mom would be dead. His mom. Dead. All because he couldn't keep out of Dad's library like he was supposed to. "Hey, Major! Come here, boy!" Major Minor had his front half stuffed behind the corner stereo cabinet, his back half wiggling like one of Jeremy's party girls. Levi grabbed the dog by the hind legs and pulled him out. "Let go! I found her first!" "No way," Levi said. He peered over the stereo and saw Mom tangled belly up in the knot of cords, tiny blue toes waving in the air. "Hold on, Mom. I'll be right back." Levi deposited Major Minor in the laundry room and shut the door. "Let me out!" "You've caused enough trouble." For all Levi cared, the stupid dog could rot with the lint bunnies. He hesitated at the thought. Later. First he had to get Mom. Luckily, she was still tangled in the cords. Levi dumped the tulips and water out of Mom's favorite vase, gently pulled her free of the wires, and dropped her inside. She scampered and slipped around the bottom, unable to get a grip on the wet glass. "I'm going to change you back," he hoped. The lions were not happy to see him. "Your dad's on his way home," said Wright. Levi grabbed the grimoire from the stand. Arcane power tingled up his arms and over his scalp. "I know how to change your back." Left sighed. "Don't make this any worse for yourself, kid." Levi ran out the door. "Tell him I got this!" He led a spastic Major Minor out of the laundry room. "Yay!" and closed the door with the dog in the hall. "Hey!" What if this was more than his mispronunciations? Laundry rooms were dirty, right? What if the screw-up had something to do with the dirty clothes, all that laundry stuff? Levi set the vase and grimoire on the washing machine, opened the book, and flipped through the pages until he came to the one that had gotten him into this mess. At least it looked like the right page. He waved away a couple of flies and put his nose to the vellum. Yeah, it was the right page. Now all he had to do was figure out how to cleanse the incantation. Isn't that what the spirit said? The incantation must be cleansed and wrought anew. He read over the spell, mouthing the syllables, adding what he hoped were the imperfections in pronunciation that had gotten him into this mess, pushing down the urge to speak up, lend his voice to the power and see what happened. When he was pretty sure he had it down, he scanned the shelves packed with plastic bags, cleaning supplies, and Major Minor's old tennis balls Mom hadn't gotten around to throwing out. He really should wait for Dad to get home. One screw-up and he could make things worse. He might even kill... Nope. Levi looked at Mom trying to climb the inside of the vase. She always said to finish what he started. This was his boss monster. He was gonna pwn it. Better start things out right. Using bleach, he wiped in front of the washing machine until his eyes burned and the skin on his hand was wrinkled and white. Now what? Put up plastic sheeting? Vacuum? Keep it simple. He poured an unbroken circle of liquid Tide the size of a large pizza on the floor. The detergent spread a bit, but the circle held. Using the corner of a sponge dipped in the detergent, he wrote runes of protection and containment around the outside of the circle. The basic ones should do. He only wanted to keep Mom from hopping out. That done, he sprinkled the entire thing with kosher salt from the kitchen, careful to sweep any loose flakes out of the center. Okay, showtime. Levi tipped the vase on its side and caught Mom in a loose fist before she could escape. He set his fist on the floor in the center of the circle, intoning a simple binding like they had on the gym lockers at school. He tipped Mom onto the tile and pulled his hand away as he spoke the final syllable. Bright red fire raced around the circle, then settled to the glow of coals in a fire pit. Mom tried to hop over the line of detergent and salt and bumped off the magic. She tried again and again around the circle before settling in the center. Now came the hard part. Levi took a deep breath and picked up the grimoire. Too bad Dad had burned the unmakings at the altar. They would have come in handy. He might find something at the beginning of the book to help. His left hand moved to the edge of the page. Nope. Focus. Hold on, Mom. I'm going to take care of you. Magic was 1% intent and 99% gargling marbles while tying a knot in a cherry stem with your tongue. Levi wrapped his attention around the last syllable of the incantation, opened his mouth, and let the magic flow from end to beginning. All the feels started at the top of his head. 1,000 feathers tickled down his spine and legs to the bottoms of his feet. Faster, said the spell. Read faster, agreed his brain. His jaw began to throb. The ache spread up the side of his face. His voice wound around the circle in flashes of white and gold, every syllable another strand of power woven into the spell. Watch the mispronunciations. Don't hesitate. His back spasmed and gut clenched around the magic until he wanted to puke. No puking! No telling what would happen then. The spell wrapped Mom in fire and lifted her belly up off the floor. Levi wound his tongue around the incantation's cherry stem and kept a picture of the way she should look right behind his eyes. Mom as Mom. Christmas scarves, help with his math homework, confiscating the dirty magazines he'd hidden under the couch, checking on him when he was sick. Everything about her. He wanted it all back. No sticky feet or bulging eyes or anything. He wanted his Mom back. The end of the beginning flew out of his mouth in a blinding flash of light. The spell whipped out of the circle and slammed Levi against the laundry room door, hard enough to make Major Minor howl on the other side. Levi slid to the floor, dead, 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 head pounding, ears ringing with the sounds of... What happened? Mom sprawled on the laundry room floor, hair in tangles, eyes a wide, confused brown. She brought up a hand smeared with detergent and salt. Ew! Mom? Levi scrambled to his knees, blinking through the rainbow remains of power. Mom! He threw himself at her. You're okay! You're you! Of course I'm me. She tried to push him away. Let go! You're hurting my neck! Sorry. Levi braced himself against the washing machine, and together they slipped and stumbled until they were both standing. Mom pulled her shirt away from her body. What's all this? He'd never been happier to see such ugly sweatpants. I'll clean it up, I promise. I don't even remember falling. What? Mom croaked and her tongue shot out and snagged one of the flies buzzing near the light fixture. Her tongue snapped back. She chewed once, swallowed. Happened? And why is your father's grimoire in here?